Now that we got the wheel taken off, you're going to take off this nut right here. You're going to take off this 10mm for this bracket. I'm personally just going to be leaving the brake line and caliper installed for now, just until I'm ready to put the next one on. That way we don't have any leaks or anything like that. You're going to need to take this nut off, and then there's a nut down here. Oh, geez. Let me get a better angle. There's that nut right there. That's a different nut. I just kind of put that on there for the time being. I have the right one now. And then you got to take that nut off as well. And then this whole thing should pop off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I'm just going to let it hang, take the heat shield off, and then that way it gives you a lot more room to work. Okay, now that the rotor and caliper are off, make sure you do decompress this before trying to pull it off. Otherwise it's just going to stick to your rotor. And to get this heat shield off, it's just 3 10mm here, here, and here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and then show you guys what to do next. Okay, now that we got the heat shield off, personally the way I like to get started is I like to take off the tie rod end first, then take this out, and then leave these upper and lower and upper ball joints in. So that way I can do the lower ball joint first, so that way it drops, and then I can do the top one. That's just the way I found it worked pretty easy. So I guess we'll get right into it. And now if you don't have this tool, you can kind of beat them out. Just carefully you don't destroy your nuts on them. Like if you hit them, sometimes these edges will like fold in and you can't reuse them. But with these you can just kind of tap it on the side and they will pop out. It's not like the easiest thing, but let me show you how easy this is with an impact and this tool. It just pops right out. And just like that, this is out. So I definitely recommend buying this tool. I paid for the whole set, and it's like got 6 or 7 different things in it. I paid like $100, but you could probably pick one of these up by itself off Amazon for like, I don't know, maybe 20-30 bucks probably. And you just kind of repeat the process. So next I'll do this one, and then the lower ball joint and the upper ball joint, and this whole thing will come out. Okay guys, so just a little tip for this lower ball joint, you can't really fit the tool in there. So just kind of move everything out of the way, make sure nothing is getting pinched. And once everything is completely moved out of the way, you need a pry bar and a hammer for this to pull it out. So, and another nut, unless you want to risk maybe messing up one of your nuts. I think you'll be fine though. So you just kind of thread the nut on to where it's barely taller than the actual rod, and then you take a pry bar, put it underneath your shock, put it on the nut, and then take just a hammer and push down. It doesn't take any crazy force, and tap this. I mean, hit it with some force behind it, and it should just pop right out because you can't really fit the tool in that. And then that's how you get that lower ball joint out. Okay guys, we got the knuckle pulled off. As you can see, the old caliper is still on here. I'm just gonna leave that on until I'm ready to throw the new one on. That way it's not leaking fluid excessively. So actually what we can go ahead and do, let's pick this up and put it on this side, because once we disconnect the line, it doesn't matter where it is. We're gonna match that. And then so the way you want to install this is start off with the lower ball joint. So just kind of throw this guy in there, and then put the top guy in. You're basically just doing it in reverse. Then put the top ball joint in, then this guy, then the tie rod end, and then I like to do the brakes last, because you do have to, unless you're putting new lines, you do have to grind or machine the like head off of the brake line, and you just kind of machine the back side. I'll show you guys on this side because I didn't really do too good of a job on the other side. Got the knuckle installed. Anywhere there was a little bit of surface rust, went ahead, cleaned it up, and put some paint, cleaned all the little suspension components by hand, just so that way it looks better. Didn't do the fender lining, just because I could do that with a pressure washer. About to install the caliper. Looks great. Once I get this on, I'll walk you guys through the bleeding process, and it's super simple. It's on, it's done. I have the pads in. I bled it with my dad. I completely forgot to have him record it. Me and my brother did the other side. Me and my dad did this side. But basically, it's a pretty simple process. You just, what we did is I pumped the pedal a few times just to get the fluid to fill up. Then once it had some kind of pedal feel, I filled up the reservoir, and I was using some of this Valvoline .3 and 4 brake fluid. People in forums were saying it was pretty good, so I went ahead and used that. I would top it off from over there, and then I would pump it, hold it, and then I would pump it 3 times, and then hold it, and then my dad would crack. He started from the back, crack that loose, put this on it, let the fluid go through, then close it. We did it about 3 times on each side, so it's a total of 6 times. But I mean, the pedal feels great, so I'm about to clean this mess up and then put the GoPro on my head, take it for a test drive. Alright guys, we pulled up to a racetrack, got the Brembos on, everything rides amazing, feels better than before, got the front and the back on, it brakes so much harder, it's dirty, needs a little wash, but I mean it stops hard, definitely a mod I would recommend to do. It took me like 3 or 4 nights after work consistently with all the parts I needed to get the car done, but I definitely recommend it.